Our scenario centers around a smart home hub hosted on Metasploitable 3 running Apache 2.4.7. This web application lets users control functions like lights, garage doors, and home security. We used a Kali machine in the same Proxmox environment to simulate the remote attacker targeting the vulnerable system. Our first exploit targeted SSH on port 22, identified through an Nmap scan. We used Hydra to launch a dictionary attack, successfully logging in using weak credentials like vagrant. This gave us remote shell access to the Ubuntu system, highlighting the dangers of weak passwords and exposed services.
Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be conducting an SSH brute force attack on the Metasploitable machine. So our Metasploitable machine is hosting this beautiful looking smart home interface, um, and the IP address is 10.0.0.59, so that's going to be our target. So I'm going to run an Nmap scan on that. I already did because I'm just him. So you can see port 22 is open, so that means we can make connections using SSH. So now I'm going to use the Hydra tool to try and acquire a username and password. So I'm inputting uh, a file full of different usernames and another file full of different passwords. I'm going to run that. In the real world, this would probably be like a list of like 10,000 usernames and a list of like 10,000 passwords. But just for the sake of this video, I made custom lists just to make sure this goes quickly. So as you can see from this, we got the login vagrant with the password AB12CD34. So from here, we're going to open up the Metasploitable Framework console, and you guessed it, I already have it open. So we're going to set our target here to the Metasploitable Framework, not the same thing, to the Metasploitable machine. And then we're also going to set the username that we found, which was vagrant, and then the password, which we got from the Hydra tool, which was ISU password. So once all this is entered in, we could run the exploit, and you can see session 1 opened. So we now have a session that we could interact with. So I believe I is like interact. All right. Okay, hold on. Technical difficulties. All right, so now we're in the machine. This is my computer now. I hacked it. I could go and find our where the super beautiful smart home interface is running and mess with those configuration files. I could just delete everything. I could just delete the root directory if I really wanted to. Why not? So yeah, that's the SSH brute force with Metasploitable framework console. All right, so this is kind of building off of that last video that I just did using the Metasploitable framework console, but it kind of dawned on me that you don't even need to use that. So we got our target acquired, 10.0.59, blah, blah, blah. Ran the Nmap scan. We could see that port 22 is open, SSH, and we're going to use our Hydra tool once again to acquire our username and password. And with this is the we don't even need the Metasploitable framework console because we have the login and we have the password. So all you have to do is simply just log in to SSH using the credentials that you just stole. And just like that, we are in as Vagrant. And this time, I decided I am going to delete the entire root directory. So good luck, Vagrant. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to be remediating the exploit that I did in the last 2 videos, the SSH brute force exploit. So the main reason why I was able to gain access to this machine was because our buddy Vagrant here didn't change his default password. So when I ran the dictionary attack on the machine, I got his password, and I ended up deleting his root directory. But his machine's back now, and I'm just a super great guy, so I'm going to change his password for him so that doesn't happen ever again. So let's do that. Simple, just pass WD, type in his current password, and then we're going to use, let's make him a new password. So say what now? This password is a palindrome. Oh wow, they got me saying some some tough words on this presentation here, but anyway, I just wanted to make a bad password just to show you guys that I made a bad password policy. It has to have a minimum of 12 characters. So we could go ahead and make a good password here. Oh, wow. Phil's a dictionary attack. That's a great password policy we have there. So let's make another one. Okay. It seems to like this one. Boom. Password updated successfully. Awesome. We now have a super long password because you might have heard me typing. So I was typing for a minute there. We have a long password with a mixture of capital letters, lowercase, numbers, special letters, um, and it's a phrase that's pretty easy to remember as well. So on top of this, I'm also going to, since our SSH seems to be under attack, um, I'm just going to close that off. I'm just going to stop that service. So as you can see, SSH is now stopped waiting. So let's go over to Kali. Let's run our Nmap scan. SSH is closed. Closed. What? No. And then let's try our Hydra again. No. So as you can see, connection refused. We cannot get into the Metasploitable machine anymore.
The second exploit targeted SMBv1 protocol on Windows Server 2008, known for the infamous WannaCry and NotPetya attacks. We used Metasploit module MS17_10 Eternal Blue to achieve unauthenticated remote execution as system, ultimately gaining an interpreter shell on the target.
I'm going to be exploiting the Eternal Blue vulnerability on the Windows Metasploitable VM. This exploit affects Microsoft's SMB protocol. So we're going to first start by performing an Nmap scan for open ports, and then we're going to get Metasploit launched here.
A few moments later.
So after we've launched Metasploit, we can now load the Eternal Blue exploit module. After we got that launched, we configure the target IP, set our own Kali machine IP for the reverse shell callback, and choose an interpreter payload. So here as the exploit runs, it's going to attempt to deliver malicious SMB packets that will trigger remote code execution on the Windows server. And here we successfully opened an interpreter session, which gives us full access to the Smart Hub server with system level privileges.
Remediation steps include applying Microsoft's MS17-010 patch, disabling SMBv1, restricting port 445, using firewall rules, enabling network segmentation, and performing regular vulnerability scans. The third exploit focused on the Pro FTPD mod copy module. This vulnerability allowed us to use the site cpfr and site cpto FTP commands to copy malicious files onto the system, ultimately gaining remote shell access. Hello, my name is Nicholas Russis, and I did the Pro FTP 135 mod copy remote command execution exploit. I started by searching for the exploit and then selecting it in Metasploitable. Then I got the information that I needed to add it and set my R hosts. Then I tried to run the exploit, but it wasn't working because I hadn't fully configured it. So I loaded up the payloads and started looking into which one to select. I decided on 7. Then I tried to run it again, but it failed to validate the local host. So then I set the local host to the IP of the Metasploitable Ubuntu. Then I just wanted to check here, but I didn't necessarily get any good results just checking through FTP, just to see if I could find out what I was missing. Then I decided to set the site path because I figured that's what I was missing. And then at that point, the exploit worked. So I didn't do much with it post exploit, just prove that I could for the video. But I do showcase the shell right here. And then for remediations, which should be here pretty soon. Basically, the easiest option for remediating the problem was just updating the software. So I went through and I updated the software and displayed the version so that it's obvious that I've done some remediation. I could have probably done more, but I didn't. To further harden the system, we configured the UFW firewall to only allow central ports from this local subnet. We scheduled daily automated backups, enforced a strong password complexity and expiration policy, removed the default credentials, and disabled unused accounts, significantly improving the system's overall security posture.